Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, what else can I say? Congratulations to the Philadelphia Eagles on an incredible season culminating into a Super Bowl win. We're joined by Ben Stemmer and UCTV Sports newbie Nick Maou. Nick Foles threw for 373 yards with 3 touchdowns and even a reception touchdown. Tom Brady threw for a record 505 yards and 3 touchdowns, but it just wasn't enough. Fellas, what are your first reactions after the Super Bowl Classic? Ben, starting with you.
It was a very exciting Super Bowl for sure. Both teams put on a legendary record-setting performance. So the 1,151 yards combined from both teams was the most yards in an NFL game in history.
Yeah.
So, and both teams combined for only 1 punt in the game. And Brady broke last year's record that he had set and had 505 yards. So he had the most passing yards in any Super Bowl game ever. But Nick Foles also, his 373 passing yards landed him in the top 5 in Super Bowls ever.
Wow.
So it was a historical day offensively. However, defensively, a historically bad day. So for that reason, I don't think I would put this Super Bowl as a top 5 Super Bowl all time, just because no defense. But it was just as exciting. It was just as exciting as any other game, and you never can count out the Patriots until that last Hail Mary was incomplete and the clock went to 0.
Yep.
They were right in it, and I was watching with people, and they were saying, "Hey, man, they're only down 8.
Yep.
They just need 1 score." And so it was exciting though, and it was a great game.
Yeah, no, definitely agree with that. Another exciting Super Bowl here, coming down to the end again, with the Eagles coming out on top for the first time ever in their career. I gotta give it up to Doug Peterson, Nick Foles. They played a hell of a game. The rest of the Eagles team, but to me, that takeaway from the game was honestly Doug Peterson's coaching.
Yeah, absolutely.
To go for it on 4th down, not once but twice in that game, and for me, that untalked about play of that game, 4th and 1, on their own 45 with 5:39 to go. You don't get that first down, that could be game over. Patriots could take that ball, score. You don't know what happens there. So I gotta say, for me, that coaching by Doug Peterson and those 4th down calls to go for it, unbelievable.
And that's how you have to be, you know, with the Patriots. To beat a team like that, you have to be aggressive. You have to be aggressive. You know, go for it on 4th down. You know, they actually scored a touchdown in the first half on 4th down. So
4th down, that was throwing to Nick Foles.
Incredible play. You know, the freaking touchdown there to Nick Foles. What's going on?
Drawing that one out.
Starting with Nick. Sorry. Where do the Eagles and Pats? Where do they go from here?
I'm gonna start with the Eagles, and I think going from here, you won your Super Bowl without MVP candidate Carson Wentz out there. You know, you won with your backup quarterback Nick Foles.
Incredible.
Bright future for them, honestly. A young team, and they have a solid roster both offensively and defensively. I think they could take a few more possibly in future years, you know, being able to compete. However, one thing I do want to mention, though, is that NFC East, that's 14 straight years now where the same team hasn't won twice in a row. So, I mean, that's going to be a battle once again, you know, with those teams there. But I think, you know, they're going to have a bright future, definitely.
Yeah, for the Eagles, it has the look of a potential dynasty.
Yeah.
They have a lot of young players. Carson Wentz, Nelson Aguilar, Jay Ajayi, and Ronald Darby. They're all age 25 or younger.
Yep.
And they won without who could have been the MVP, Carson Wentz, like you said. Yeah. But like you also said, the NFC East keeps flipping every year. And actually, the last 3 NFC East champions were finished last place the season before. So last place, the Eagles finished in last place, and now they finished first. The other year was the Cowboys, and before that, it was the Redskins. So you know where I'm going with this. Next year, Giants finished last place this year. They have a top draft pick,
you never know.
Yeah, we'll
Giants
see.
could be first place next year.
We'll see. And now with the Patriots, Nick.
I mean, with the Patriots, if you have Brady and Belichick again, another AFC East division championship right there. I mean, other than that, I say you get better defensively. You give up, 41 points to the Eagles with Nick Foles. I mean, you gotta do something on the defensive side of the ball.
And they lose their coordinator too.
Yep. And both coordinators, offensively and defensively, gone. And then other than that, look for some young QBs in these drafts because Brady's not playing forever.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. Man.
Yeah, the Pats came up short in this game, but as long as Brady and Belichick come back, even though they lost both coordinators, they don't have any challengers in the AFC East. The Buffalo Bills made the playoffs for the first time in this century, this millennium, but they have Tyrod Taylor, and they bench him for Nathan Peterman. So basically, there's no other quarterbacks in the AFC East, no matter what team you look at it, unless you think Jay Cutler is a good quarterback. So the Pats are still the favorites for that division, which means they're going to be right back in the mix. Actually, Vegas released their odds today.
Immediately after the game.
Right
after the game.
Pats are already standalone favorites, odds 5-1 to win next year's Super Bowl today. So Pats are in good shape. They lost both coordinators, but they're still going to have an easy cakewalk to win the division, and then they'll be right back in the playoffs. So we'll see.
Yep, and then think about this, with the Patriots, who else in the AFC, is a contender? Pittsburgh, they're always there, but they're kind of inconsistent, and then, coaching always gets to them. And then, Jacksonville, honestly, I don't think Jacksonville's going to make the playoffs. They're in a tough division with the Colts, Texans.
Andrew Luck coming back,
and
Titans
Watson again. Yeah, it's going to be a tough division.
Yeah, so,
we'll see what's going to happen with Jacksonville. And then, it was a painful loss. I woke up this morning and Brady still has 5 rings. It was unfortunate. I guess you can't win them all. And all credit to Philly. They played incredible on offense, and their defense came up with the late stop when they needed to win the game. We'll be back to discuss the NBA and LeBron's current status in the league. Please stay tuned. Back with our weekly show, and the Cleveland Cavs are back to getting smoked. After another blowout loss Saturday against the Rockets, guys, how much faith do you have left in the Cavaliers to make the finals? Ben?
So the Cavs are having some serious chemistry issues right now. LeBron keeps sending subs on social media.
There you go again.
But in my opinion, I think the Cavs are still the finals favorites to make the finals in the Eastern Conference. Celtics are playing great, but the Cavs have made the finals in the last 3 years, and LeBron has made it to the finals for the East in the last 7 years. So until LeBron doesn't make it, I can't pick against him, and I can't see him not being the favorite. And also LeBron and the Cavs, they're only the 3 seed in the East, which is causing some people to worry. It's not the 1 seed, and it's even lower than the 2, but LeBron has shown he doesn't need home court advantage to make the NBA Finals in the Eastern Conference. 5 out of his 8 finals appearances, he was a 2 seed and not a 1 seed. So he beat the Bulls, who were the 1 seed with MVP Derrick Rose, Pacers, Hawks, who had 4 All-Stars, and last year the Celtics with Isaiah Thomas. And those aren't strong teams, but LeBron, it doesn't matter if he's on the, and he won his NBA, 2 of his 3 NBA championships he won as the road team against the Thunder, and then everyone knows when he beat the Warriors. So, yeah, the LeBron and the Cavs, they're having some serious issues, but I still think they're the favorites. Other teams are going to have to show it in the playoffs.
They got to make a move, though. They have to make a move.
I think they have some serious issues, and I do expect a trade before the deadline. So if they don't make one, I'd still say they're the favorites. But I do expect them to make a trade before the deadline, and I expect them to go hard after DeAndre Jordan, for sure.
We'll
yeah, no, definitely. I mean, like you said, LeBron, 7 straight NBA final appearances. I'm not ready to just give up on him yet. I mean, every year you're gonna have the same kind of storyline. You know, halfway through it's like there's this other team in the East that might top them. You know, being the Celtics this year, last year the Celtics, Pacers in recent years. You know, and it's just like LeBron battles them through it again. They have their issues. They get through it. They go to the playoffs, and they're right there on top again. I mean, I'm not ready just to give up on them. Like you said, though, they need to make some moves now. That team is looking like a mess.
Yep.
You know, you watch them Saturday against the Rockets, who are one of the best teams in the league, and they looked awful out there. They got to make some moves, fix some chemistry issues, start playing defense, and they'll be right back in there.
And before we get started, because I keep noticing this, everybody keeps saying LeBron beat this team. Listen, LeBron has teammates. Look, Kyrie, and I said this too after the Kyrie trade, that LeBron was going to struggle without Kyrie. And, I mean, IT doesn't seem to be, carrying that weight. So, I mean, we'll see what happens. And just real quick, I want to get your guys' opinions. Honestly, in my opinion, I think LeBron could be on his way down. I think he's definitely declining. But, I mean, what do you think LeBron's status is, among the best players in the NBA going forward?
Look, he's number 1. There's not a question about that. I mean, this year, besides, like, this one last month of struggle, outside of that, 26.3 points per game, 8.7 assists, 8 rebounds per game, and shooting 54% from the field. Those numbers sound pretty good. I mean, his career averages are only 27.1, 7.1, 7.3, and then 50%. So, I mean, he's right there with his career averages. So, again, despite his turnovers being up and his defensive efficiency being down, I think he's still number one. I mean, those two things will go hand in hand with his teammates. Once they work things out, I feel like his defense will step up, his defense will improve, his overall game will improve, everybody else's game will improve on that team. But he's still number one to me. I'm not worried about that.
Dang, y'all act like LeBron is Jesus. Everybody gets better, gosh. But I mean, they're playing so bad right now.
They're playing really bad right now. You know what? You mentioned earlier an ESPN analyst who keeps saying Tom Brady's on the decline, but then he keeps having to extend it. I think maybe we might have to bring that into play because every time people say LeBron's on the decline, what does he do? Goes to the finals. He doesn't always win. He loses more than he wins. But Tom Brady, you know, when they lost to the Chiefs in week 1 of this regular season, people were saying that it was not the Patriots' year anymore and Brady was done. But look, he's the MVP. So LeBron is having a horrible month, but I think he's still the best player in the league. He's 4th in the whole NBA in assists and 5th in points. Only Harden and Westbrook are top 7 in points and assists in the NBA, and LeBron is the only other person in those 3. So he may not be having his best month, but I don't think he's on the decline just yet. The real concern is, at this point, does LeBron stay in Cleveland? Because the way things are going with these chemistry issues, LeBron is probably looking elsewhere. So I think LeBron's still the best player, but whether or not he stays in Cleveland, the odds are starting to point towards elsewhere. So,
you know, I think we're at an interesting point in LeBron's career. I mean, he can't elevate this team. You know, we've seen this. The team has been struggling without him, and he's definitely been showing, you know, signs of fatigue. You know, late in games, he hasn't been able to produce as well as he's been. And the offense looks worn out. You know, maybe LeBron can turn around, but the way things look now, the future in Cleveland and LeBron's status as one of the elite players look to be dwindling away. That's all the time we have here. Thank you for watching. Be sure to subscribe below to view other content of UCTV. Have a good night, and here's to the city of brotherly love. You earned this one.